Everything is at stake. We've built that airport with our money. It's Kenyans who have been paying for everything. Then you wake up wanting you want to privatize it. Then we listen to somebody telling us that this government has been doing well. The president himself, when Gen Z were having mandamano, did not leave the country for so long, almost a month plus. Right now, when he thinks he has brought BAMBA into the equation, he now has at least some peace and he feels he can walk around. But then again, as he's walking out, the university union, here it is, we want to strike. Students, here we are. A comrade talking about the funding model is not something we can do right now. Everything else is a mess. And we are talking about, this is last week, this week was when we were doing 2 years of him since he got into power. What has he done with his manifesto? How many boxes have been ticked? He has ticked more boxes in having to swallow his words than more of what his manifesto was talking about. So as young people, it's very depressing to listen to somebody who wants to sanitize this government. Mm-hmm. By the way, even them, they are really hoping that somebody else can take up the job of defending themselves, because they can't even explain what they are doing, you know. And it's very sad when the whole world is looking at us, when we talk of a whole day of our airports not operating, and then somebody wants to tell us that the government is doing well. We are doing well by selling half of our nation. You want us to bring Indians into this nation for them to come with their people, and then you go around telling us that now it's time for youths to be shipped abroad for jobs. So we allow people to come in, work in our country. Then for us, we allow youths to be exported for labor. That cannot happen. It's very sad.
Okay.
Fred, can I give a response to that kindly?
I'll give you an opportunity.
Yeah. Let me just respond to Njeri a minute. You know, at times it's good we display facts than having populism discussion. If I say Ruto has done better for the last 2 years than his predecessors, let's table facts. There's nothing called everything. Let's table facts. What President Uhuru did in his first 2 years, what President Kibaki did in his first 2 years, and state whatever President Ruto has done in the last 2 years. Let us not just use everything, this, wherever. I want us to state facts. If we discuss today about affordable housing, what President has done, you know, there is short term and there is a long term. One of the purpose of affordable housing for any developing country is to ensure that we do not build up on small farms in the village, because we'll not have sustainable farm arable land to sustain our country for food security. If you do your research, you realize that only 10% of Kenyan land can be arable to feed the country. So we cannot continue living in those kind of 10% piece of land, selling it into small plots of 1 acre, 2 acres, until in future we might not have a place to farm to feed our country. Therefore, affordable housing main intention is to move people to live in urban and leave farms in the village to be done for, to do some farming to feed the country. And therefore, that is the long-term intention of the affordable housing. But now we create affordable housing too, is to create employment for the youth. That is one. Two, we've also seen, I've indicated here before, what President Ruto has done about subsidizing fertilizer, other than subsidizing unga through the millers. And we've seen the effects of that and the price of fertilizer today. We've seen management of dollar and where it is today. We've seen fuel dropping, either slow by slow. It is an indication that there is a progress going ahead. Let us also discuss about, I think we'll discuss about Adani later. About privatization, we need to have the facts about privatization. You cannot come to a national TV and say we are selling an airport. We need to have facts about it before we discuss that. And I think we'll discuss about that later. Again, something about strikes. There have been strikes I've watched. Even in 60s, 70s, there have been strikes all along.
So it's a normal thing.
It's not normal. Let me tell you one thing. We are, and I've said here before, we are in a situation today that we have an open government that releases off more things to the public than previous government. Previous government have been making decisions which at times we are not informed in Kenyans, and therefore there is minimal strikes. Okay. Again, some of the strikes that we have today are based on agreements that were done with previous government on maybe improvement of salaries, on other programs, and the current government inherits the liabilities and assets of previous of the government at state.
Fred.
And